on yet another episode, January 19th of Coach Keyton and Crawford here in the Crawford Podcasting Network. Grand Traverse Pie Company, quarter of Hagedorn, Grand River. Snow's coming tumbling down. Looks like Hollywood snow and a Bing Crosby special. Outside it's beautiful. What, 16 degrees? Kerry Keaton's favorite weather. Kerry loves it. And he 18 down to 5 below. He's all about it.
Whew.
Not.
At all.
Guy is the softest dude I know.
Soft.
Soft
I need the heat.
when it comes to cold weather. Bitching about how cold it is, man. It's unfreaking believable.
I need the heat.
Okay. And speaking of heat, the Lions needed some heat last night.
They got some
I
heat.
mean, we might as well dive into this sucker right now. 45-31 upset for the Washington Commanders.
Commanders.
Jaden Daniels, man, looking like Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes. You know, this is the quarterback. This is the style of quarterback I want. I don't care if it's the collegiate level. I don't care if it's the NFL level. Maybe even the high school level.
Definitely at the high school is a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. Oh, you can
It's a
dominate.
problem.
You can a quarterback like that can dominate a game. High school.
We could go all the way back to Mike Canfield and Mr. Reggie Williams that used to cause the CAC problems.
Yeah, problem. Yeah, Everett High School. Okay, so 5 turnovers for the Lions. They were, I think, double-digit favorites going in, or not close to it. And man, the devastation at Ford Field. The showing the fans, it looked like a funeral.
They didn't even.
They were numb.
They didn't even get the Cobra. It was just.
There was no, but there was a late third quarter. I think the Commanders scored, if I'm not mistaken, 21 points in the span of 5 minutes, and it flipped that game. And that, you know, obviously the deep in the red zone turnover, and then they go 90 and they carve up 12 plays. Amen. I don't know what the stat number line was on that, the duration of that drive. But man, that was and the pick six. I mean, we can go on and on and on. This was a missed opportunity for the Detroit Lions. Here we're going to wait home field advantage. This is what they didn't have with Barry Sanders playing. They didn't have home field advantage all the way to the times. They didn't have it last year, and then, yet they had that 24-7 lead.
But they had the
lead.
chance
They
to
had
win last year, and
last year
my
was the
man
opportunity.
started doing too much.
Probably going to lose their 2 coordinators.
And that's the prime example of, you know, thinking that you'll be able to. No. You got to get it while it's hot. Last year was more of a chance than this year because of all the, you know, the injuries and everything this
Yeah.
year.
No,
But
that-
they came out in the second half, and you couldn't ask for a more perfect beginning of the second half.
Right.
You got the stop.
They got the
You
stop,
went
right
down.
on.
You got the score, and you needed to do everything you could to either get another stop or maybe at least hold them to a field goal. Austin Eckler goes crazy.
Yeah.
Then you get the 12 on the field. Then from there it was.
You know, it's not so much like the Commanders had a commanding rushing game, but they had close to 200 yards. It was when they made their
Make
runs.
the plays.
They made plays in their running game that just disheveled the Lions defense, which has been disheveled by injuries. There's no doubt
Sure.
about it. I mean, it's, you know, Aiden Hutchinson got injured in early October with 7.5 sacks. He's still leading the team in sacks. So the sack element completely went away for the Detroit Lions when Hutch got hurt.
He had to totally reinvent the defense during the season, and
Right.
it had to come from bringing pressure because you weren't getting it from the front 7, front 4, and then that leaves you susceptible to everything else on the back half, including playing man-to-man, and now you got a quarterback that can run. I mean, it's basically the same thing that happened with Buffalo. I mean, you got a running quarterback, and
Josh
he can
Allen,
take
you could
off.
put in that, not quite in that flicker foot category, but he can move.
Yeah,
He can move. He can move way better than Jared
He
Goff.
killed them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and Jaden Daniels did the same. You know, the design runs and the quarterback run offense in the NFL is.
So we were talking about
Crazy.
on press pass last week. How would you defeat the Lions? And I'm going with a standard Captain Obvious here. You know, quarterback pressures up the middle. I mean, no quarterback, including Tom Brady, does not like quarterback pressures up the
Nobody
middle.
wants to see
And
it in their
Jared
face.
Goff does not. I mean, what happens it triggers him to make mental mistakes
Oh, no doubt.
and executional mistakes.
Anytime you get, you get the quarterback off his platform and you're making him do
He's a
stuff
rhythm
that he
guy.
doesn't do,
Yeah.
then it's a problem. And Jared Goff is just stiff in general. I mean, there's nothing flexible about him at all. So what he has to, a prime example is the pick six. He got rushed, he panicked, and I posted, he panicked. Laporta was standing right there, just throw it to him. He tries to force the ball downfield, he gets picked, and then number 4 just tried to kill him and knock his head off. And, Teddy Bridgewater came in and got us a quick scoring drive. How about that? Win the state championship in football.
Okay. Destiny's still lingering out there for the Lions.
Oh, it's
Goff
there.
goes in a tent, and in comes Teddy Bridgewater right from the high school practice field.
From the state championship game.
I mean, this is insane. Some of the storylines, and it's like in that second quarter, I said to myself, because it was the highest scoring second quarter in NFL playoff
And
history.
yards and everything. Like
I
over
said to
600
myself,
yards. First
I have
half.
freaking never seen anything like this. It was crazy.
No defense playing around that game.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But that's the thing though. Like, yeah, it would not be good for them, Detroit, if they lose the Johnson. Because
they're going to lose these 2 coordinators.
Because of his play calling. Being an OC is time and rhythm, but he has weapons.
What would you have done different?
Only probably thing I would have liked to see them run the ball more in the second half. I talked to one of my old players about that because Coach, how come they run the ball? I'm like, well, they wanted to, but then you got behind, and then there comes a point where you have to throw the ball. But the trick play with Jamison Williams was terrible. There was nothing good about that play. There was no need for that play right there.
You didn't need deception quite at that level.
Didn't need that. So that probably the only thing. Other than that, I mean, they scored 31 points. You're supposed to win a football game and score 31 points.
No, yeah, but you can't turn the ball over 5
no
times.
question. No question at all. And those turnovers cost them points. One gave up 7. The other ones took points away. The ball down the middle that Sanders still made the great play on. It really wasn't that hard of a play because the ball was underthrown. Throw the ball to the back of the end zone. Let him run to it. And then it's a touchdown. But you got to get 3 there if nothing else. And that was huge. So, I mean, Detroit, they'll find another offensive coordinator. Defensive coordinator, they'll find too because it's easier to call defense than it is offense.
You think?
Yeah, especially when you have people like Hutchinson up front that can disturb.
Because you can discombobulate as opposed to execute.
Having to do
right.
all the extra stuff.
Right.
They make a big deal out of Spagnuolo at Kansas City. Well, Kansas City got Chris Jones. Chris Jones makes everything easier for you.
They're a lucky friggin' team, though.
So yeah, and I'm just gonna get that out of the way. Like somebody asked me, no, I need the stuff they're calling with Patrick. Those are not penalties. No, that's ridiculous. They have to address that kind of stuff because you're just basically handcuffing people that they can't even play the game naturally at this point.
So maybe the only thing that the Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell thing, you might have considered drafting Mikey Samer still. It might have worked out even better.
Ifs and buts was candy and nuts. I mean, I
love
don't
that young
follow
man.
Detroit.
That's the only silver lining from my standpoint. And Mikey had 2 picks. That was good. But I didn't. It saddens me because it's against the Lions. And my God, we're sitting here. Where do Lions fans go? They got to start all over again. In the whole Lions. Dan Campbell was devastated. This is the thing I love about Dan Campbell. You talk about you bringing it real. He brings his emotions real. And he doesn't hold anything back. I love that guy. I love that guy.
But that
he's not maybe a perfect coach. He's a hell of a coach.
That's what makes you want to believe in them and root for them and cheer for them and when they're 15-3. Okay, yeah, no. There's only one person that's going to be happy at the end of any season.
Oh, we know that. Yeah. It could be the Commanders. I mean,
Very
when
well
you
could
have,
be.
I tell you what, this goes back to the NCAA tournament 40 years ago when the top seeds got the first round bye, and then they go into the second round, a team that had already been on that floor 2 days later, like Illinois got burned by this in the top. There's something to be said of playing that first game, and then you kind of in the rhythm, and it's like, yeah, but the Lions really needed a rehab because they were so banged up.
Sure.
But maybe the rust factor kicked in. What do you think
Yeah.
about that, or not?
I don't, especially them. They needed the rest.
Yeah, of any team.
You know, especially after playing, playing such a hard game against
Right.
Minnesota, even though they blew them out, you still played the game. The thing about, I believe, is the fact that when you play indoors, everybody's comfortable.
That's true. That's a good point.
So,
But that's why you get. But they had home. They had indoors
right,
locked
no
down.
no question.
All the way through.
But the visiting team comes in and they get to be comfortable. Besides the noise factor, they get to be comfortable too because
Wow, this
it's
is nice.
It's
This
in
is
here.
nice.
It's not 14 degrees outside.
That's true.
Now
Never thought
next
about
week,
that.
depending on who wins, they could be in Philly.
Yeah.
It's not going to be warm in Philly.
Yeah.
It's not going to be comfortable in Philly.
And Buffalo,
not-
KC could be. I mean, that's problematic.
That's going to be right because Baltimore they're playing today. Whatever.
Ravens win tonight. Just to let everybody.
Yeah, go Lamar.
Yeah.
So the elements will change how I believe how Washington plays just because it's going to be probably 10 to 15 degrees more than likely, and nobody's comfortable. I don't care who you are. Nobody's comfortable in that.
Right.
So, but the warm weather, if LA wins, then they might go to LA, which would be nice.
Yeah. Get
So-
back to SoFi.
Then now you're playing I'll take Washington all day in that. All
I
day.
just think this team is. Been playing with house money. I mean, they won
Sure.
4 games last year.
And they got the number 1 fourth down. Hey, Dan Quinn be going for it.
12 man of the field. Killer. Last
How does
straw.
that happen? I mean, everybody on the sidelines yelling, but how did they get on the field?
Noise.
Right, but how do you get on the field? How do you not know your
I
packages?
know.
You got to know your packages.
Right.
But
Well, that's all your, that position coach line. I mean, there's a lot of people involved in that.
lots of people.
And so there's probably equal blame to go around. But
Sure.
So, anyway, where do you see this? Do you think this is a high? Last question about the Lions. I want to move on to college. But really big basketball game out here at Breslin and New. But where does this Lions franchise go next year? I mean, do you think that they've already hit the high water mark
No,
and they're
I don't
going
think
downhill?
so. I don't think so.
But the coordinator hires are going to be huge.
Yeah, he's got to find the right people. He may have them already there.
Aaron Glenn is gone, don't you think?
I mean, it's hard to say because you're giving up 45, 50 points. Like, fine, anybody could do that.
It's true.
You know?
They've given up a lot, but their offense
Like,
is so good.
but I like his, I mean, I like Eric Glenn, but like I said, deep coordinators are not as
And
hard
are you
to
calling
find.
them a dime a dozen?
I mean, they're not as hard to find as offensive. Calling an offense is an extremely difficult thing to do.
I think an offensive coordinator is almost like an artist. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a lot of deep things. I mean, there's that little shovel pass to Montgomery.
Oh, that was amazing.
I mean,
Great
it's like,
play.
damn,
You know,
dude,
that's-
you
that's,
are good, Mr.
That's
OC.
that's right
I've
out of.
I've never
that's right
seen.
out of,
I've never seen in all the years I've watched football a shovel pass from a back like that.
toss and like that. That's right out of Andy Reid stuff.
Okay.
He been watching, and
Yeah,
that,
I
and
mean,
that's the
you-
thing.
I mean,
That's the skill set of, an offensive coordinator. And that's what we talked about before, way back. When those guys are calling, you gotta leave those guys alone. Let them call their game.
Yeah.
You can't. You can interject some things that you may want to see, but you gotta let those people do the thing. That's what makes them special.
Okay, we're going to segue. We got a couple more besides the college basketball. I got to stick with football. Monday night, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Who do you want to win, and who do you think will win?
I don't want because I don't care.
You don't care.
I want to see a good game, but I think
You really don't give a shit who
No,
wins.
no.
You don't like either one.
Well, I really don't like Notre Dame.
Why
But
is
I
that?
like Marcus Freeman because I never beat them.
Oh, okay.
0-4.
So it's a personal
4 against the Irish.
frustration.
had one shot when we had it, but we'll
Okay.
talk about
Okay.
that. But I mean, I like Marcus Freeman, so I like to see him do well, you know, because he looks like
Okay.
me.
So you.
But I think the Bucks are going to win,
I do too.
and I think it's going to be probably double digits.
Oh, no doubt. 14.
You know,
I got this 31-17 number in that
yeah,
range.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense.
Michigan State, Illinois. So Izzo's pissed off after that. I mean, Penn State is a scrappy team, so they won a 5-point game. He's all pissed off.
They played well.
He's pissed off at life, it seems like. He's always mad. But he gets his team ready. His team will be ready today. I see Michigan State beating Illinois. They're favored by like 2.5, 3.5, something like that. Don't you think?
Yeah, they got the home court.
Tough at home.
You know, I like Brad. I've always liked Brad Underwood. I said I liked Brad Underwood a long time ago when he first got to
When he was at
Illinois.
Oklahoma State, I was down at Indy. And Michigan beat, when Derek Walton was playing, beat Brad Underwood's team. And I went to the post-game presser, and asked questions of Brad Underwood. He just is good. I mean, he's a classy guy.
I like
he
him.
looks like this gruff guy, but
Yeah. I like
was
him
good.
like I like Frank Martin. Like
Frank Martin. He's a football
Frank
guy.
Martin.
You
They
know.
just give it to you real.
Yeah.
They just give it to you.
Yeah, he
And
brings
this
it
is
around.
it.
So I'm heading down in a couple hours, heading down to A Square for Michigan Northwestern after that dastardly loss
Oh,
to
buzzer
Minnesota.
beater.
This Dawson Garcia, this dude who hit that half court. So, at the end of practice all the time, they always do these half court shots.
Sure.
He's the worst on the team at doing the half court shots. And he switched it from the logo. So that bad loss, Michigan is a turnover machine. They got to get that cleaned up today. That is a huge
They got stuff. What's that boy named Martinelli?
Oh yeah.
Left.
Yeah.
Pretty good player.
Yeah, Northwestern is scrappy, so those are big games today. And then, back to the NFL real quick. Who wins the two games today between the Eagles and the Rams?
I like the Eagles, and hopefully,
and
I'm cheering for the Ravens.
I
I like
don't know
Lamar.
I like Derrick Henry, who to me is like,
King Henry.
he's like watching cartoons when they do football, and you have this animated, exaggerated domination.
He's running, and there's like 12 people
Yes.
holding him, and he's still dragging them.
He is, I call cartoon-like.
He like the what you call it in he like Spike in Little Giants.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Carrying
I mean,
everybody.
he is the baddest ass running back I've ever can recall.
And when it's cold, it's even harder to want to tackle.
He's
those
like
guys.
a fast Larry Zonko.
And they still dogging Jerry Jones every second they get about, man, he's not good enough to come here. Okay.
That dude's
Sure,
a piece
Jerry.
of work. What a narcissist piece of crap.
Yeah.
If
He let Jimmy Johnson
Deion's going to
go.
go there?
Deion can go wherever Deion wants to go.
Right time.
He have options.
Yes, he has options. And we have options right now. We're going to close this thing out right now. Kerry Keyton, Tom Crawford here. Go out to Tom's Take Community. If you would, subscribe to that on our YouTube channel. It drives you right to the phone. Also on our Facebook page. And we'll be here next Sunday morning, approximately 9 o'clock. We have a lot to unpack, including how that Ohio State game went with Notre Dame. And, a little high school basketball, college
Big
basketball.
high school game last week.
Yeah.
They got to go back to the high school. They got to go back to the Tuesday night.
What's the deal on the Thursday night?
They got to go.
Friday night you go to high school basketball.
These people get in the room and they think they got answers.
What's the deal with Thursday night?
They need to go back to
Why?
the Tuesday night triple headers at either school.
And
Boys
then
one
Friday
place,
night.
girls the other. Thursday night double headers. Boys at one place, girls at the
Friday
other.
night,
And Friday
high
night
school. In the
double
Midwest,
headers with boys and girls.
this is
and
what we do. We go to a high school game on a Friday night. I don't understand East Lansing this Tuesday, Thursday crap. I don't. That's like Patty Gill Junior High, Tuesday, Thursday.
Those are those geniuses getting in the room thinking they know something that's not. It's just bad for everything.
I agree with you on that.
For
Okay,
everything.
Kerry Keaton, Tom Crawford. Till next time, Miss Kerry, is it?
Go green.
And go blue.